universe. It's Caner Tip Tuesday. And today we're looking at CaneFlow and chronic pain. What's the connection there? How does it benefit you? Listen, those of you that are thinking, well, I'm just into this for the self-protection. I have a question for you. Did you get attacked physically this past week? I'm willing to bet that the majority watching here, that's not the case. However, you may be dealing with some type of injury, chronic pain, or something that limits you and what you're able to enjoy. So it's affecting your quality of living. So I'm going to show you why so many are coming to CaneFlow for the purpose to address and see how they can improve the way they move and their chronic pain. I'll show you what the connection is here today. But before we do that, let's go ahead and avail yourself. Do it now so we don't forget later to avail yourself of the 2 free resources. The first one is the Cane Clarity Call. Go ahead and text the letters C for Cane Clarity Call to 305-745-7839. In less than 24 hours, we'll jump on a call, find out what it is that interests you, why are you coming to the cane, and how it is that we can serve you best. But you'll walk out of that call with a blueprint based on your interest and what your goals are that you can actually execute and really make it happen in the remainder of 2022. And then the second free resource is, if you're on Facebook, look at the description there. ACSD, we just put out our first no-cost group under the area of CaneFlow. Look it up, how to move better, protect better, and how to live better. And all you have to do is, ask for entry there, and they will let you in. But a lot of topics being discussed there that may be of interest to you. Why is it that CaneFlow is attracting so many out of typically the main interest with the cane? Most are still coming for self-protection. We get that. But now it's attracting. It's always been attracting martial artists, but there's different types of artists. Now you have musicians that are coming in, artists, pain therapists, movement therapists, those that are, if you're involved in anything having to do with getting others to move better and feel better. What is the connection there with CaneFlow? And this is so important for the reason that I just said. You wake up in the morning, if you're in chronic pain, and I don't have to tell you, you know this better than anybody. You guys are more accurate than the weather person out there, because you know if it's going to rain today, you know it's because your sciatica is acting up, because my knee is acting up. I hear you 100%. And so your day goes, and what you're going to do that day is based on how you're feeling. I'm going to show you the connection here and how CaneFlow can can address chronic pain and the potential it has for improving your quality of living. And in order to have that discussion, the first thing that we need to take a look at is the physiology of pain itself. And of course, I'm coming from my background as a natural healthcare provider, and I love this topic and everything having to do with the brain. But it all begins with an understanding of the nerve system, your brain and spinal cord, which exists in the natural world to keep you alive, to protect you. It's all about survival. And it tends to do this around 2 main sensations, if you will, that it prioritizes, and that is fear and pain. And what does that have to do? Well, it's going to influence, and fear and pain, it may be physical trauma to the tissues. It may be an experience that you have. And remember, it's not a mind and body complex. It's the mind-body complex one way. So whatever's affecting this also affects the body as well. You cannot separate those. It works as a unit. Remember, I said that because moving as a unit is part of what we're doing here with CaneFlow. So the way that you're feeling and now your body is going to, the way that you move is represented, if you will, it manifests based on that pain pattern. So there are several ways that CaneFlow influences those pain patterns. The first one is we're moving from a model of wear and tear to move and repair. Okay, let me say that again. Wear and tear to move and repair. And what that means is that we have become very good at teaching our body to move in a particular way to try to protect that area of pain. And when you do that, that may not necessarily be often it's not the best way for your body to respond, because when you do that over and over and over, now you're developing patterns that make things worse. So if I have a pain in the knee, now I'm transferring all my weight to the other side, and now I've developed, this is the way that I start moving. And in CaneFlow, we say, in ACSD in general, we say, come as you are, come as you are. We'll meet you at your starting point, and then we will circumvent and work around, use the ACSD principles to work around that injury, because circumvention leads to inclusion as opposed to exclusion, and that's huge. So the first thing is that these repetitive patterns, we introduce with the cane a way of moving that the brain just finds more interesting, right? And it starts putting this off to the side a little bit and says, okay, this is what, but now you have my attention. This way that you move with the cane and slow it down, wow, I find that more interesting. It actually flows, and now your attention, we start moving away from this repetitive wear and tear. So we're offering the brain another option. I always say, you hear me say it, ACSD caners as well, ACSD caning is brain training. And everybody nods and says, yep, we've heard him say it 1,000 times, but now we're really, I'm going to elaborate on that and explain what I mean. The second way that it does this is by quieting down your pain maps. And to understand pain maps, you would have to look at brain maps. This is a science. I'm not going to get really deep into it here, because this is something that has been happening over the past 20, 30 years. You can look it up yourself. But a brain map basically responds in the area of how you do what it is that you do. So to give you an example, if you are a musician and you listen, so your brain map for how you're listening and then transferring over to what your hand is doing here is you're going to have a very different way, a brain map for your hearing and your hand movements than if you were an Olympic distance runner. For instance, your brain maps in those areas are going to be different. Now, think about this, ACSD caners and those in the flow. If you're flowing to music, you're listening to something, and then your hand here as well has to be moving. One of the amazing things about it is that if you remove the music from the flow, some actually flow without the music, and you're still looking at the movement, it still seems like that caner is listening to some type of music. And we often get asked, what are you listening to in there that gets you going to that rhythm? Well, it's just so ingrained in our nervous system. That's just the way that we move. We've done it so many times that we don't even need to hear that music. One of the amazing things is you can take any genre of music, superimpose it into that flow, and then it matches right in. So it still amazes me for as long as we've been doing this, and we got a long way to go. But that's one of the amazing aspects of it. So one of the things that we're going to do is it affects pain through neuroplasticity, and neuroplasticity is just that. It's an exciting aspect of the science of the brain that says that, hey, you continue learning well into adulthood. As the years go by, you can still learn. So this whole thing that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, neuroplasticity says, no, you still can actually. And by learning new things, the brain now starts suspending these pain patterns. And so, boy, these skills are different. This is exciting to the brain now, the way that we move. And I'll show you, I'll give you a demonstration of what that's like and a progression in CaneFlow, what that might be like. So if I am, one thing is to start moving here, and we always start moving slow. This is going to tie into the third component. But what you start doing with that cane, so this is just your basic handling. And this might be just this that I'm doing, new skills. But tied into those new skills, this was you doing it stationary, but now we're going to tie in the footwork in a way that coordinates with that. And it seems like there's some type of rhythm. And there's circular patterns, and there might be spinning patterns here. And you say, well, what? I can't do, well, you're going to eliminate the four-letter word, because there is a progression to get you to do that based on what your starting point is. It requires instruction, obviously. And one thing is to do that, and then if I'm going to progress from there, Now I'm taking 2 canes, and this is new to the brain. Now the fact that I have to do this, and there's a progression to it. We're gonna start with the same skill. These are forward spins and figure 8s at the same time. The brain is trying to figure out how not to bang those canes together because the eyes are perceiving this. And so the movements at first look like this, and there's a progression to it, and then you're doing this. This is all the same movement. That's another level. Then you take it to off tempo. And off tempo simply means, look at this left cane here. One cane moving at one speed, and the other cane is moving at another speed. And so you set it off, and it's all leading into both canes moving independently, right? One is doing one thing, and the other one is doing something else. Then tied into that, add the footwork to it, and you see that it's never ending. And as long as the brain has something exciting to look forward to, it changes your level of awareness, which leads to the principle, you hear me talk about it, and that is one of our principles is go slow so you can go fast. Because when you go slow, to go fast, now you're bringing awareness to the movement. So this isn't all about speed, speed, speed. We have a lot of drills and that are designed with the intent of bringing awareness to the movement so that you give the brain a chance to say, oh wow, that movement just feels right. This feels pretty good. Look at me now. I can't believe that I'm able to do this. And then there's a sense there of accomplishment. Your nerve system starts becoming more confident. Why? As you get more confident in your cane skill set, your nerve system becomes more confident and it starts trusting you more, and it says, you know what? We can allow them to move that way and do that because, boy, this is enjoyable. This is a smoother. This is more effective. This is more efficient, right? And so what it leads to, the moral of the story with CaneFlow and how it affects pain through doing the skill sets is that if you change your movement, you change your mind, you change your brain, you change your pain for the better. And so this is, how do you do this? Everything has a starting point. If that's something that interests you, give us a call, do the same thing. Go to that CCC, text it, and to 305-745-7839. Let's have a conversation. It doesn't matter what stage you're in right now. I don't want to, I'll listen to your disability, but we're not going to nurture that. We're going to turn that disability into your cane ability. How's that? That's the way that it works here. And also avail yourself, go to that group and request entry, that Facebook group, that CaneFlow group, because a lot of these topics we expand on here. Okay, I'm Joe Robaina for CaneFlow. Thanks for watching. Keep caning, stay safe, and get flowing.